Hello, it's River Jackson again, and in this, I guess, monogamous commentary podcast until potential interviewees or interviews. I'm not sure with whom or why, but it would be interesting to see some diversity in topics as long as somebody willing enough to put forth their voice, you know, would speak and engage in this discussion. Regardless of that, I want to be talking about something that I spoke on Quora a little bit today, which is the resources of a country and the ideas of investing in precious metals. I think it's a very interesting topic, and I have my tea here with my cat on my lap. He's being adorable and very cute. Really enjoying my pets and cuddles. Anyways, thank you. Without further ado, I hope you enjoy, and if you want, I'm going to be linking the Quora, PayPal, as well as giving some information and other details. Thank you, and peace. So, there have been many instances where I've talked about precious metals before, and I find it a really fascinating area because despite currencies such as paper money or crypto, which is now a more digitalized and more available version of money, and still to some degree, yes, it's more capable than others, but I find it, well, very interesting that money in the form of metals and money in the form of other forms is not commonly used. Because, well, you could say, just like just like how you can print a bill and say it is a certain number, a certain value, even though it doesn't take that cost to make it. In fact, maybe even a little more or a little less than the price of the physical production that is needed to make the product, such as the paper bill. Then, if you call the bill and $100, I'm using U.S. currency because I'm not literate in international translations or transitions and of currencies. I find it especially promising that in a new world, it would be far more um, im- implying to use other forms of goods and payment for capital. If you were to, I guess, trade for a book, and obviously this is not new news, hippies do this and trade in barter fairs, and as somebody who is sort of familiar, quite familiar in that range of bartering and trading and getting quite expensive valuables from it, including books, which I must mention later in a different episode. I find it especially entertaining. It entertains me, the fact that not a lot of people understand what a good product is, and the wise ones who say, the old stuff was more quality. I would say, yeah, to some degree that's right, but new things will also age, and we will have new forms of currency over time. This is not new knowledge either. It may be new for somebody to hear it, but not new in the sense of you can't um, you can't just go around your life using other forms of payment because, well, it's not accepted. Some places only require card, or some I mean only accept card. Some only accept cash. So and I've never heard of any form of a payment system where bartering is the only acceptable payment. With that in mind, I find it especially interesting that even though there is a quality to bartering and trading, it is not as widely accepted as cash or card. And I'm definitely one to like material gain only for the value of the ability for non-liquid asset appreciation. There's some aspect of the the obtaining part of it that is nice. Holding on to it, not so much, because I'm sure you could find a way to give it away if you weren't too holding on to it as a sentimental value. But there's some things that hold more sentimental value than anything else, and which may be why people keep around their valuables, their material valuables more, and are okay with exchanging cash on the regular. But for me, the value of, let's say, books or old musical instruments, the market for it is highly saturated only in the fact that it's a lot more blurred than people expect. There's not really a lot of truth behind the product, and there's also not a lot of information available on the product either. You can't look up just any product because some products actually have lost information to time, and there's no way of searching on the internet anywhere at all whatsoever, even if you use special searches, which I know of, web filtering, and you can't find a clear route out to the history of an object, which I think in part contributes to the ways that we kind of lose this appreciation for these objects. And so, on the topic of currency, the main the main idea of this is, well, for example, prime example is palladium, however you want to pronounce it. It's more precious than gold and silver. It in that I would love to own some. I don't know if I own some. I may own some, and that's not saying, well, I can't give you a yes or no if I own it. It's just I do have precious metals, but actually cannot test them right now because I have an inability to drive. I'm not driving yet. It would be a great thing, but I don't think I'm ready. And I will have to take that step for myself later. And I think it's responsible to focus on, well, learning the skills that I didn't when I was younger. And obviously, one can be so diverse in their nature and have a interesting glow up and childhood as well. While I did have a rough childhood, I did also have a very beautiful one as well. That was very free, more free than most people, and for that I'm quite thankful. I would say. So palladium, it has a lot of it has a lot of suspense in me because it has reached $9,000 US dollars per ounce. Get that? 9,000 per ounce. I think it was 9,534 at the time that I checked at its highest, which was maybe 2014. I may be incorrect. You can check this somewhere else. Somebody may have the information on a forum, or, well, I wouldn't go with a forum. I'd go with one of those price checkers for lifetime on precious metals. And it also has huge implications for superconductivity. It also has really nice potential for a hedge against inflation. I have things that are a hedge against inflation, but selling off those is quite difficult because material assets, like the physical ones rather than digital, you can't really sell. And I have had issues with money, but I'm getting there, I would say. I have a lot of material value, but in terms of understanding investing, I'm quite a newbie on that. So I would definitely recommend doing as much as you can to learn every single aspect and every single moment that you can in these topics of palladium and gold and silver. I find it fascinating. I do own silver. It's a very lustrous material and feels quite, well, silvery, you could say. Gold, well, I have barely any whatsoever. And for gems, I don't have many anymore because they had gotten broken and smashed because I was so interested in them and quite, well, I just didn't know what I was doing. I was a child at the time, and it's a shame, but I do have some that I've kept. So, knowing the value of these things is very difficult for a child. And just a shout out to any fathers out there. Do not let your child, whatever you do, even if you're trying to play nice and trying to people please your child and like, okay, it's fine if he plays with this, do not let your child play with any valuable things whatsoever. They will break it. Cats too, cats included. Cats will break your stuff. Humans will break your stuff. Other humans will break your stuff. Friends, family, rivals. It doesn't matter because it's just going to happen no matter what. And that's one of the poor things about owning a large amount of personal items is that, for one, you can't keep track of it. And for two, well, it's non liquid assets, so it's hard to sell. And yeah, quick sip of this tea. It's a really nice tea. I got it from a Christmas advent calendar. Yeah. Wow. That's some good stuff. I had pumpkin pie spice tea on the car ride home from a light show, Christmas light show. I got some great photos. I can show them too at the beginning of this. It's fine. I'm not gonna time it. I'm a little bit too lazy to do any massive editing, so it's a shame, I'm aware, but it's the price I'm willing to pay for more efficiency and more time, but um if I find the motivation to, then I'm really happy to figure something out for editing. And yeah, I think this is a much more shorter uh monogamous episode, singular commentary. I think last time it was the 500 bar mark. I'm using bars on this because I'm on GarageBand right now. It's the bar and beat. Yeah, okay. Anyways, thank you for watching or listening because there's not really any visuals that can go along with it. But yes, I do appreciate it, and hopefully you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye bye.